Hello and welcome, this is AgentXP, and welcome to another author playthrough video. This is now my 21st released level, and this is a demo for what will hopefully someday be a much larger project, which I'm calling Return to Prague, or at least part 1 will be Return to Prague. This is a complete single level from that future game, and it's not the first level, it's likely to be something like level 3. This game is in fact a direct sequel to my Christmas in Prague level, and if you haven't played that, I would highly recommend playing that level first, as this is a short continuation of that story. It's likely to be quite some time until I finish the entire Return to Prague game. However, this level was quite well advanced, so I decided to release it as a Christmas demo, as this particular level is quite festive, as you can see by the title screen. The game itself, though, is not a Christmas game. It will be my own version of events after AOD. As we can see here, there are 2 different outfit options, and I'm going to select the regular outfit for this playthrough. The starting cutscene begins just several hours after the events of Christmas in Prague, and this is in fact the same map. I'm going to just let the cutscene play out. Looks like this is the place. Another cold, wet sewer. Great. But this should give me access to the Strahov library and monastery. Hopefully I'll be able to find some secrets that I missed the last time.
Have fun in there, but watch your back.
I always do. They're the ones that should be worried. So as Kurtis walks off into the snowy night, the camera pans up to this building behind us, and we saw this in the previous level, Christmas in Prague. This is in fact the outside of the Strahov monastery and library, and we are about to enter the building. In the final game, there'll be a bit more of a journey to enter this building. However, for the purpose of this level, we find ourselves entering straight through this ventilation duct. Before going any further, if we turn to our right, we'll see a candy cane behind a grate, and we can't shoot that grate from this side, but we now know what the secret items look like, and if we collect all 8, we can get a special Christmas ending. As you see, I shot the grate there, and we can fling ourselves out of the vent. At least it's warm in here. A little Louvre reference there, as this level does resemble the Louvre in quite a few ways. Now before we go any further, I'm just going to show you a couple of items in the inventory. As you see there, I used an outfit swap card, and using this item changes the colour of Lara's top. We also have a diary in the inventory, and throughout the level you'll see the little diary logo pop up in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and whenever that happens you can get a new hint relating to whatever Lara is currently doing. And it's up to each player how many hints they want to read. I also checked the stats there, and as you can see there are a total of 8 secrets. One of which we already saw but can't reach yet. Having picked up some flares, I'm going to investigate this large painting. This is in fact a hidden switch, which opens the main doors to the room. I should be careful in here. There are lots of security measures. I can't afford to trigger the alarm. So Lara warns us that she doesn't want to trigger the alarm, and a big feature of this level is a fair amount of stealth. As I said, this level does resemble Louvre galleries in quite a few ways. Think of it perhaps as a Louvre galleries, a Prague edition. So we can see here a moving laser beam, and we don't want to touch that because if we do, we are going to set off the alarm. So make your way around it and push the button. We now find ourselves in a new room of the library, and there are more laser beams, but these are the static type. And if we look at this empty bookshelf, Lara can actually climb this. There's enough space for her to get her footing, so we can use it to traverse the laser beams. These won't set the alarm off, but they will cause us some damage if we touch them. As we enter this new room, on our right we'll see another empty bookcase. We can use this to climb up to the next floor. The inspiration for this level came from the real-life Strahov in Prague. So this one is based more on the real place than the one we saw in actual AOD. Although the factory type environment that we did see in AOD may well feature in the final version of the game as well. So now that we're on the second floor, we can see some marks on the floor, and Lara will stare at this small table. This is in fact movable, and if we push it onto the stained tile on the floor, we will open a secret bookshelf panel. So as I was saying, the Strahov monastery is a real place in Prague, and I looked at quite a few reference images to gain inspiration for this place. As we pull the switch, another secret bookcase panel slides open, and now I can demonstrate one of Lara's new moves. If we press action next to the fence, Lara will hop over it. We do take a small bit of damage there, but that's fine. Now we can shoot out another grate and enter a new area. Grab the flares on the sideboard and walk forwards. We'll now be shown a cutscene. I should be careful not to wake him. If you thought you heard snoring, you were correct. There is a guard fast asleep at the other end of this room. And as the cutscene showed, there is a slight gap in the laser beams, and we can shuffle our way past without taking damage. And the message gave us a warning that we need to walk here. Basically, if we make too much noise, we will wake up the guard. So it's a good idea to keep walking in this room. And we're fine crawling as well. So we can sneak the key from under the guard's nose and make our way back. If you get too close to the guard, he will wake up. Before we leave though, we're just going to see that the guard has a Bartoli's pizza, and that is an Easter egg for my Rome wasn't built in a day level. So we can grab his chocolate bar as well before leaving and sneak our way back under the laser beams. The key we picked up was the key to the main hall, and we saw the keyhole on our right when we first emerged from the office at the very beginning of the level. The keyhole on our left is a different key that we'll need to find later on. As you saw there, once we're safely back in the middle of that cubby, we're able to safely run again. And we can now make our way back the way we came, climbing the bookshelves to cross the laser beams safely. I really did enjoy working with this opulent interior style. It was a lot of fun to build. Whoops, caught by my own trap there. I mean, that is what it's there for. That one often gets me. So don't do what I did, hop over the laser beam without taking damage. I'm just going to eat some chocolate real quick there. And we're going to make our way back through this main hall and jump over another laser beam. And we can now use the key that we snuck from under the guard's nose. And this is going to open up a new section of the level. Need to move quietly here. If I get any closer to that guard, I should avoid making too much noise. Lara warns us about the guard at the end of that hallway. If we stay on this blue carpet, we should be fine, but any closer and we need to be quiet. I need to go through those doors, but there's no way I can with those laser beams active. I'll need to find a way to turn them off. Lara also informs us that she needs to get through that door at the end of the gallery. However, she can't do so with the laser beams active. So we're going to proceed in what's currently the only viable direction, dodging past that moving laser beam. And we'll just take a moment to appreciate the scale of this room. I think this is one of my favourite rooms in the level. I really love how this one turned out. And this is the grand staircase to the upper floors. And we'll carefully grab the chocolate from the edge of that sideboard without getting intercepted by the moving lasers. That upper door to the top floor of the library is currently not open. We're just going to make a note of that for now. And we need to be quite careful here as there are 2 laser beams and one on the floor. If you're careful, you should be able to wait in between them and time your crossing. So if we see here, there is a dirty patch of carpet on the floor, and this gives us a clue that we can move this display cabinet. And we are going to use this cabinet to jump over the laser beams. So we can maneuver it into position and dive our way over safely without taking any damage. This corridor takes us to the 2nd floor of the library. We were in this room earlier, but downstairs, so we can see where we came from. And if we proceed in this direction, we'll find a switch on the wall next to a door. The door swings open, and Lara stares at the cabinet on our right. We can shoot the glass and pick up an item. This may come in handy. Lara tells us that the item we collected may come in handy, and if we check the diary real quick, we'll see some of the entries that we have, and this latest one shows us the mechanical scarab that we just picked up, as well as a big stain on the floor behind that guard. And you may be beginning to realise what we might need the scarab for. But before we go any further, I'm going to collect some chocolate from this sideboard, and if we go right up to this painting, Lara will stare at it, and you can kick it down, revealing a hidden secret, as well as a switch. This switch opens the upper doors of the library, so the floor above the floor we're currently on. We saw those doors earlier when we were about to pass the 2 moving laser beams, so we are going to backtrack. If you don't want the secret, you can just hop over the barrier on your right there and find yourself back in the lower part of the level, ready to use the scarab. That would be the correct place to do that. But we want our secrets, so we're going to come back this way and dodge the laser beams a second time. It's worth briefly pausing in the middle there in order to get the timing right. And don't be fooled here, don't take the stairs, because there is a sneaky laser beam waiting to take out an unsuspecting adventurer. So avoid the stairs and climb around them. And we'll now find ourselves on the top floor. As we look down, we can see both of the floors we were on previously. And if we make our way to the left-hand side, we can collect another chocolate bar. And we can also see another display cabinet. There is a gap at the top of the shelf opposite. And if you're thinking that we can squeeze into that gap, you would be correct. However, we need a little height boost, so we are going to move this display cabinet into position. Unfortunately, the ceiling won't usually let us grab the shelf from this side, so we are going to move the display cabinet twice more in order to get it on the side with more room. We can now access the shelf. So climb on top of the cabinet and pull yourself up into the gap. And you guessed it, there's another candy cane. So the whole purpose of this area was for a secret. You may recall we opened this area within a secret. So it's like a secret within a secret. So we now have 2 secrets. It's now time to retrace our steps and return to the hallway where the guard was lurking. And we can now use our beetle. I'm tempted to use the fence hop there, but I'm actually not going to, because if you do it there, you'll take a bit of damage. So let's take the safe way down. We'll also time our way past that beam again. Sprint past, and we find ourselves back in the main gallery. I kind of think of this as the sort of Louvre area of the level, because this area was very heavily inspired by Louvre galleries. You may have already been able to tell that. So walk up to the stain on the carpet, and we can see the guard at the end of the hallway. And we need a little distraction in order to move him, as we need to be able to sneak behind him. On this tile, Lara will wind up the mechanical scarab that we collected and send it off on its way. Nice. That was a good distraction. The guard has now moved further down the hallway. However, he can still hear us, so we still want to be careful and continue to move quietly. So I'm going to save my game, and we're going to proceed down the hallway. I was super chuffed when I came up with the idea of using the scarab to distract a guard. I thought it was a lot of fun. Turns out he's not very bright, and he didn't think to turn around to see who set the scarab up. He's over there chilling. So we can now proceed into this side gallery, and we'll be shown a button as soon as we walk in. If we press that button, the door will close behind us, and once it's safely closed, we'll now be able to run and jump. As with the door closed, the guard can no longer hear us. So we can climb onto a display cabinet and use the chandelier to shoot out a grate. Grab the grate and pull up inside. We'll immediately see the red glow of a laser beam. So we need to be careful here, and if we look up, we can see handholds on the ceiling. This grate is climbable, and we can use it to shimmy safely over the moving lasers. So proceed past, and we can then flip ourselves out of this crawl space and into another. And here there is another laser beam, but we can safely crawl underneath this one. We can now see another shootable grate at the other end of this vent. So shoot it, and we can flip ourselves out into the security office. Thankfully, no one is home. There are a couple of Easter eggs in this room that are worth noting. The first of which is another Bartoli's pizza on the table, and we can grab some more chocolate from the table as well. There's Bartoli's pizza. And if we turn around, we can see some of the guards' multimedia viewing while they are busy not working, including a couple of familiar streamers and Tomb Raiders 1 to 3 remastered, which is very topical at the moment.
Great. Now I can go through those doors.
If we pull the switch, Lara tells us the laser beams have now been deactivated, and we can now go through those doors at the other end of the main Louvre-like gallery section. So proceed back to the button and push it, and the doors swing open. And don't forget, the guard is still there, so we need to continue being quiet as we leave this area. And we need to keep walking until we reach the end of this hallway. I'm really pleased with how this stealth section turned out. There aren't too many custom levels featuring stealth. However, this was an absolute pain to try and set up, I can tell you that. So we now get a message saying wait until the door is shut before making any noise. So do that, and once it is closed you should be able to safely run and fire your guns and do anything we normally would do. That section has now been closed off, but there are no secrets in that section, so fear not. Speaking of secrets, if we shimmy past the laser beam there using the display case, we can now access the grate that we saw right at the beginning of the level. So grab the third candy cane secret and then exit the vent. Once again, we can climb on top of the display case, and we actually want to hop to the lower display case, as we can use the gap here to crawl underneath the laser beam. We're now in the area where we deactivated the door laser beam, and in order to get across the beams that are still present in the hallway, we can hop on top of the higher display case and use it to reach the chandelier. And if we run and jump to this lower display case, we won't take any fall damage.
To push open the door, stand in front of it and press action.
I included that line in case people didn't realise you could push open the door. It's quite tall for a push door, but I like it. I think it's very unique. So run over here and push open this door, and we'll find ourselves in another area. And this features a telescope. If we run over to the telescope, we can actually use it. We got a diary entry to prompt us for that. And as we zoom in using the telescope, we'll see a date. I wonder what that could be for. Now that we've looked through the telescope, we can leave that room and open the far door, and we'll find ourselves in another gallery. Along with the big grand staircase room, I think this might just be my favourite room in the level. This is one of the rooms that is most closely based on the reference photos I was looking at for the real Strahov, and I am really chuffed with how it turned out. At the end of the hall, we saw a keyhole requiring a key that we don't yet have. Halfway down this hall, there is a keypad, and scrolling through the diary, it tells us that there must be a clue not too far from this room. And we saw a date 4-digit code through the telescope. So you can use your keyboard if you have one to input the numbers quickly. Otherwise, use the direction arrows to select the correct numbers. 1679. As we enter this room, we'll see a very large clock. And once again, I'm super chuffed with how this turned out. If we climb up here, we'll see some monkey bars. Now these aren't absolutely necessary, but they're there to make things easier should people want to use them. Running and jumping, we can hop over to the one side of the clock and shoot the counterweight. And that is going to render the pull chain underneath us usable. And I'm going to take the shortcut here. I'm going to hop over the top of the clock and shoot the other counterweight. But the monkey bars would allow us to run and jump from the other side, because that hop over the top of the clock can be quite tricky. So jump down, and we now have 2 pull chains that we can use. Each chain operates a separate hand of the clock. But before I do anything with the clock, I'm going to run behind the clock and drop down into the pit underneath the large cog. And here we find a grate that we can shoot and another candy cane secret. This is harking back to the Lost Library level of Tomb Raider 4. I had a lot of fun making all the mechanical bits of this room with all the cogs. I thought a clock was a good excuse to have lots of cogs and moving parts. So now that we have collected the secret, we're going to need to set the clock to the correct time. And the grandfather clock on the other side of the room shows the time that the clock should be. If we were to look at our diary hint, Lara would say that's a cool clock, but it's set to the wrong time. So we're going to set this clock to the same time as the grandfather clock. The right hand chain controls the short hand, so we're going to move this one to number 10. Again, I am super pleased with how this puzzle turned out. I thought this was a very fun idea that I'd not seen before, at least not in a custom level. So now that the shorthand is set to the correct time, we only need to move the large hand twice. So pull the left hand chain, and we'll be shown a flyby of the door opening upstairs, and the clock starts to chime. So now we can leave this room and pop up the stairs and enter a new room that opened. Once again, this room was based on screenshots I saw of the real Strahov library. At the end of this room, we'll see two pedestals, one with a bunch of keys and another with a map. And once we've picked both of them up, the door at the end of the room opens. But there is a candy cane in a display case. And if we shoot the vase on the windowsill, we will see a button in that alcove. And we can use that button to lower the display case and grab the candy cane secret. We'll now emerge back where we were at the start of the other gallery. And speaking of secrets, if we turn around and shoot the picture, we'll find another secret. And the shatterbug there. I always seem to get the shatterbug in my levels. So now we have all but 2 of the secrets. So we can now proceed to the end of this gallery, and we can use the bunch of keys here. As it says on the item description, these are reusable. We'll be using these for another door as well. So we can now proceed into this large room. Again, I love this space. It's very opulent. I had a lot of fun with this. We can run up to the window and we'll be able to look out onto the city outside. Snowy scene out there. And behind us there is a switch which opens the doors at the end of this room. So pull the switch and the doors will open behind us. And we can now finally go outside. We've been able to see the outside space from all the windows but not reach it. And now we can. But before we go exploring further, we're going to use our bunch of keys here for the second time.
This looks interesting. It would seem I need to find 4 maps hidden around the library.
Lara comments that this is an interesting looking puzzle, and we're going to need to find 4 maps, one of which we found at the end of the clock puzzle. Pushing open the doors, we'll find ourselves in another grand hall, quite possibly the grandest in the level.
I can grab that ladder and pull it down.
A note about the ladder, as not everyone might realise they can interact with it. And once you pull it down, this wall becomes climbable, and we can proceed to the second level. This particular room is probably the one that is most closely based on the screenshots that I saw of the real Louvre in Prague. As we run past this door on the upper level, we'll be shown another diary entry. And if we read it, Lara comments that she might be able to open that door from the other side. So we're going to come back to that later. As we run along this upper walkway, we'll see a slightly recessed bookcase. And as we pass this protruding book, Lara will stare at it. This is in fact a switch that we can use in order to open the secret sliding bookcase panel. And from behind this we can claim another map, and we'll be shown the door that we opened earlier. This serves as a reminder of where we need to use the maps.
But in order to use them all, we first have to find them. So I'm going to go and grab the ladder and drop back down to the ground floor. And from here, I'm going to push open this side door, which is going to take me back to the area that I came from, the outside courtyard in the centre of the level. And I'm going to show you how we get back to the map room, the globe room where we use all the maps. That is it just there. So we've come full circle. So I'm now going to explore the outside courtyard area. There are a couple of things we can do here. If we look up, we'll see a whole row of lamps, which can be used as swing poles. But before we do that, I'm going to explore this central courtyard. This is the area that you see on the title menu screen for this game. Having crossed the courtyard, we're going to proceed through this tunnel into another smaller courtyard. This is the area we could see through the window from the office at the very start of the level. Taking a look around, we see there's an upper level, and in order to access that, we need to find a sneaky switch concealed within this fountain, which has frozen over. So this raises a block, which allows us to access the upper level. And you may be thinking, this is pretty sneaky, right? This feels pretty secret. Secret. It is just that, because up here we will find another candy cane. So we need to proceed along the balcony, and we'll see a lamp halfway across, and this is going to allow us to swing to the platform on the other side. If we need to adjust on a swing pole, we can keep swinging and pressing the right or left arrows, and Lara will sort of shuffle up the pole. You can also adjust Lara's trajectory when she is flying through the air a little, so lean to the left, and we landed on the balcony and claimed another candy cane. Just taking a moment there to admire the snowy scenery. I do love this area. I really like it when levels have both an inside and an outside. I love either the anticipation of finding a way inside the building or finding a way outside in this case, so you can see the outdoor environment from within and you long to explore it and then find a way out. I do love that kind of gameplay. So as you can see here, we're using the lamps as a series of swing poles, and from there we can grab this small roof, and if we shuffle around the edge, we can actually use this shimmy crack to reach the next balcony. So continue to shimmy along here. The animation set used in this level is slightly different. I chose one that resembled the AOD animations, which I think is really cool. After all, I am trying to emulate AOD in this level set. However, it doesn't feature the faster shimmy, so I may try and implement that in the full version. Now that we're on this balcony, we can grab this other small roof, and as soon as we pull up, we're going to want to jump so that Lara immediately backflips before she slides off and lands on this balcony behind her. Just taking a moment to appreciate one of my favourite views of the courtyard. And now we can swing from two more lamps and do a run, jump and grab to reach the final balcony. Here, if we turn to our right, we'll see an open window, and we can crouch and roll underneath this. We now find ourselves in another office, and if we look to our left, we'll see another Tomb Raider remastered Easter egg. And we'll get a camera showing us another map. So grab the map and we can now push open the double doors. And we'll now find ourselves back in the large gallery that we were in earlier. This is the other side of the door that we had hidden for. There's one more thing we need to do in this room. So I'm going to safely drop down using the ladder and run to the end of the gallery. And to the right of this door at the end of the gallery, there is a key that we can grab. We're just passing another Easter egg on our left. I forgot to show it here, but there's a picture of Her late Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, who sadly passed away around the time of me building this room. So I decided to include a little tribute to her there. It felt fitting. As we push open the doors at the end of the room, we'll find ourselves back in the room where the guard was asleep, only he seems to have since woken up and left. He's also taken his Bartoli's pizza with him. And we can now return to the keyhole, and we literally just picked up the key for this room and was shown a camera hint. That's a handy little shortcut back so that we don't have to go around the long way. This level is essentially one big loop. As we walk into this high gallery, we'll be shown a couple of significant things. There is a switch that is too high to reach from the ground, and we're also shown a monkey swing and a door at the top of the gallery that has yet to open. Just saving my game before proceeding. As we walk into the gallery, you may notice in front of Lara there are some dirty stains on the carpet, and that serves as a hint that the giant ladder is actually a movable. But before we do anything with that, we're going to run to the end of the gallery and find another hidden book switch behind a plant. This opens the picture at the other end of the gallery and reveals another candy cane secret, the final one of the level. So we're going to first of all move this giant ladder, pull it to the side. We can only move it side to side, it can't be moved forwards or backwards. So we can pull it to the wall and now use the ladder to climb to the top. And from here we'll be able to operate the switch that was otherwise too high for Lara to be able to reach. So walk to the switch and pull it, and we'll be shown that the door at the top of the gallery is now open. It's now worth us climbing up the bookshelves and traversing the ceiling of the gallery. But first of all, we're going to jump and grab the grooves in this wall, climb to the top, and claim the final candy cane secret of the level. And when we pick it up, we'll be given a message telling us, "Congratulations, you found all secrets. You now have the key to the Christmas ending." So we can now access the special Christmas ending to this level. I decided to make two endings as I thought it would be fun to have a slightly different, more Christmassy ending that would otherwise not feature in the full version of this level, because the level won't be standalone when it's integrated into the full game. So this will be an intermediate level and it won't really have an ending as such. So I thought it would be nice to include that as a Christmas extra for the demo version and to give people a reason to explore and find all secrets. As you can see here, we're demonstrating Lara's newfound ceiling and sloped ladder climb animations. These are very similar moves to those actually seen in AOD and are very cool. So now that we're up on the balcony, we can let go of the monkey swing and claim the final map. Now we just need to return safely to the ground. And we could hop over the fence of the balcony, but that would result in a crunch. So we're actually going to use that small table to jump up and grab the monkey swing once again. You can pull it forward one tile if you find it easier to grab the monkey swing that way, but you can actually just forward jump and grab from the table starting position. And we're going to once again navigate the ceiling and monkey bar climb, and we're now safely back on the bookshelves. I have to say I do really enjoy building libraries in levels. I've now built quite a few. But I certainly don't get tired of it. The idea for this one was to have a chill and fairly puzzly level with things such as the clock and all the maps to find, and some stealth. I didn't want combat in this one, but that's not to say there won't be combat in the full version of the game. Not that I want to be hyping it up too much. It's going to take me a little while to finish the full version, and I do have other projects to finish as well. This is partly why I thought a demo would be nice in the meantime. So we're back in the large red hall. I think of this as the red room sometimes because of the carpets. And we now need to traverse our way back to the globe room. We now have all 4 of the maps, and we can place them in each of the frames behind the globes. As we place each one, the display case around the relevant globe will lower, allowing us access to the globe. So we're just going to run around the room and place each of the maps. We're now almost at the end of the level, and had you not found all secrets at this point, it would be entirely possible to return to the rest of the level and explore and find any missing secrets. This is why I intentionally placed them in locations that would be accessible throughout the entire level. So now that we've placed all the maps, we can proceed to rotate the globes. And I actually forgot to activate a clue here. Basically, the point of this puzzle is to turn each of the globes to face the relevant location shown on the map. So, for example, we would have Australia facing Australia and Africa facing Africa. So we can turn each globe a total of 4 times. And once we get the globe in the right position, we'll get a planet hint appearing. This is kind of a revision on the planet puzzle idea from the Lost Library, only slightly different, and a lot less shuffling objects around the room. Like I said, Lara is able to turn each globe a total of 4 times. And once you have it facing the correct direction, you'll get the planet hint above it to indicate that it is correct. It is possible to brute force this puzzle, but at the same time I didn't want to make it too frustrating either. This is the last globe, and once we're done with this, I will go over and read that book opposite and show you the hint that we would have had. Hey, we've opened the exit. Nice. Now I'll go and show you the hint for the puzzle. I forgot to go and read it because I obviously know what to do already. So if we press action here, Lara will read the book. To solve the puzzle, turn each globe to face the continent shown on the map placed behind it. So we're now done with that, and we can exit the room. And soon the level also. Made it. Mission accomplished. I found the entrance to the monastery. Lara has now found the entrance to the monastery part of the Strahov. And if we proceed through this door, this is the regular ending to the level. And probably the ending that will feature in the full version, as this level will have at least one more level after it, and won't be the end of the actual game. However, for the purpose of this Christmas demo, as the message at the end said there, if you find all secrets, you are able to access the alternate Christmas ending, which serves as a slightly more finalized standalone ending for this single level. So we have all secrets, and we could use the secret key there and proceed down this hallway. And this is going to lead us to the Christmas ending. So when I was showing this level on stream and I was building this outside scenery area for people to see out of the window, my stream chat was saying, "We want to come out here." And I thought, no, this is supposed to be scenery. And then I thought, well, actually, it would be kind of fun. So I had to build more of the street around the corner to make this feel like a fully fleshed out part of the city. On the right there, we can see the gate that we were the other side of earlier. And in front of us, there is a grand building which actually exists in real life Prague. It is the Palladium Shopping Mall. And that is a real building in Prague, and I used photographs to get the textures for this. I thought exploring this shopping mall would be a fitting Christmassy ending to the level, especially given that this is a real place in Prague. I doubt the actual shopping mall looks quite like this, but I still think it's a fun idea. Prague chocolate there on the left. There is an upstairs, but you can't actually access it. I just wanted to give the feel that this is a larger building. Nice little candle shop on the right there. And if we look to the right, I actually took another screenshot from the interior of the real shopping centre and put it at the end there, so you can actually look through and see what the real shopping centre looks like. Back at the cafe, we'll find another Easter egg, which is DJ enjoying not just one, but 3 different cups of coffee. And something I wanted to include in classic Christmas.
Ah, don't shoot me!
I couldn't get the TR2 engine to trigger the voice line with a shatter.
Find anything interesting inside the Strahov library?
I found the entrance to the Strahov monastery, but exploring it can wait till later. I have a shortcut. I can get back there easily. Right now, I could use a coffee. Tomb raiding is thirsty work.
Nice work so far. Oh, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So that's it. We see Lara reuniting with Kurtis and enjoying a nice festive cup of coffee and chilling for a bit. After all, it is Christmas, even for a Tomb Raider. So that was the Christmas ending. I hope you enjoyed this Return to Prague Christmas demo. Hopefully someday this may be a full game, but in the meantime I hope you enjoy playing this level. I'm very pleased with what I was able to build here. So if you're watching this soon after release, I'd like to wish you all a very happy Christmas and thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, please do consider liking and subscribing to be notified when I upload future videos. This is AgentXP. Thank you for watching. TTFN.